Beach City Council to set to order. I would like to call upon the Reverend Marlon Sharp, pastor of Lansdowne Community Church, for our invocation. Following the invocation, if everybody will remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag.
Let's pray together. Father in heaven, I thank you for the privilege of being here today. I thank you for freedom, and I thank you for representative government. Thank you for Mayor Lewis Jones and for the other members of City Council. Your word tells us that these who serve us in our government are your servants. May they serve you and the people of Virginia Beach with faithfulness and humility. We see in your word that if we are in need of wisdom, you encourage us to ask you, and you promise to give it to us. So for the proceedings this evening, we ask that you would give this body the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, and the spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. And Father, as City Council serves us, may we also serve them by bringing them to your throne in prayer. In the name of the Lord Jesus, amen.
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 Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. May I have a motion to approve the informal and formal session minutes of the meeting of August the 7th, 2018, and the special formal session of August the 14th, 2018.
So move.
Second.
Vote is open.
Ms. Kane, can I have your vote?
I need to abstain on the 7th because I wasn't here and vote for the 14th, so
I
I
can
can't
do
push
that.
two buttons.
Okay, if you, so by a vote of 9-0, you have approved the minutes noting Ms. Kane's abstention for the 7th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're honored to have with us this evening the recognition of King Neptune, the, what is that,
45.
14th?
45.
45.
You're a lot younger.
Can't read my Roman numerals.
Sorry.
David Burton and his court, and Kit Chope of our celebration chairman. Come forward, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. It's been a little while since I've been up here, and it's nice to see so many friendly faces. And thanks for what you all do every day for this city. So I am Kit Chope. I have the great honor of being the celebration chair for this year's 45th Neptune Festival. And that's right, 45 years this festival has been the city's official celebration. It brings 500,000 people, both residents, neighbors, and out-of-town visitors to the oceanfront every year, with about a $20 million economic impact to the community without costing the taxpayers a single nickel. And I think that's pretty impactful. So thank you all for your continued support for this. We are 5.5 weeks away from Boardwalk Weekend. I don't know where the summer went. I don't know where this season with our Neptune court's gone, but we thought it was appropriate to bring the princesses, the Tritons, and also the king and his lady down here. So I'd like to introduce them with your permission. Princess Brianna Arluck, Princess Georgia Barefoot, Princess Libby Collins, who's not able to join us this evening, Princess Sydney Doyon, Princess Elena Duncan, Princess Gabriella Gianniscoli, Princess Virginia Hobbs, Princess Emily Marks, Princess Lauren Matakunis, Princess Ireland Miller, Princess Maddie Thomas, Princess Christine Underwood, and Princess Kate Vitone. That's quite an impressive group of young ladies, all rising seniors in local schools around here. And now I'd like to introduce you to our Tritons this year. Triton James Church from the Priority Automotive Group. Triton David Clower from Architectural Graphics Incorporated. Triton Akil Jen from Landmark Hotel Group. Triton George McDonald from McDonald and Ingram Wealth Management of the Wells Fargo Advisors. Triton George Melnick Jr. of Premier Millwork and Lumber Company Incorporated. Triton James Noel from the Franklin Johnston Group. Triton Victor Filio from Waterfront Advisory Group of Raymond James. And Triton Steve Sager from Town Bank Mortgage. So these gentlemen, as you all are well aware, are leaders within this community and really represent the best the city has to offer. And without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce King Neptune the 45th, Mr. Mayor, 45th, David C. Burton and his wife, Lady Ann. David, as you know, is a senior managing partner for Williams Mullen here in town.
Thank you all.
Welcome.
Thank you. Well, first of all, let me do the proper rounding of the diocese, but Mayor Jones, Vice Mayor Wood, honorable council members, Clerk Barnes, City Manager Hanson, City Attorney Stiles, thank you all for having us here tonight. And I want to tell you that I want to give you greetings from King Neptune 45. I wish I was King Neptune 14 because the beard would be a little bit darker, but I'll get by. But anyway, it is my pleasure to be King Neptune 45, and it is my pleasure to lead this group this year. We have a wonderful group of princesses. We have a wonderful group of community leaders who are very proud and are committed to being the goodwill ambassadors for Virginia Beach this year and have taken that duty very responsibly and very energetically, so we're very happy to have them. We also want to thank you all for your service to the community and helping make this one of the best places for anyone to be involved in on a community basis or to live, and that's for all the residents of the city of Virginia Beach, not just the Neptune Festival. So we thank you all for that. We do appreciate your support, as you have done over the years, and we hope to see you all at many of the events on Boardwalk Weekend. That will be September 28th, Friday, September 28th through Sunday, September 30th. We have a bunch of great events that will go on. Hope to see you all. And if I can take 1 second and approach the diocese, I'll be happy to provide coins to everybody.
Please do.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I shouldn't spend it all in one place, right?
It spends better at some places than others. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a bunch.
Put it to the collection.
Thank you, sir.
These are solid gold, of course.
Right.
Right.
Again, you might want to hold on that.
Thank you, King. It might be Bitcoins, but don't bite them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate the time.
Well, thank you, and
Thank you.
congratulations to you on your ascension to the throne, and we
you.
hope you have a great reign.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here. Our next presentation is the Virginia Beach Council of Civic Organizations Awards, and I believe Brad Sykes is president of the Virginia Beach Council of Civic Organizations, here to do
Thank you,
that.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. The VBCCO has been in operation since 1959. We have members from all the civic leagues. And tonight, we would like the mayor to present the Ocean Lakes Community Organization of the Year, and Will Hubbard, the treasurer, will accept. You're supposed to have it, Mr. Mayor.
Which one you want?
This one. Ocean Lakes.
Ocean
This one
Lakes.
here.
Okay.
You present it,
All right.
the treasurer.
All right, this is an award, and it reads, I got to get the cellophane off to do that. I won't get it off, but This award reads, presented to Ocean Lakes Community Association Volunteer Community of the Year 2017. Congratulations.
Here's a box, too.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next
Congratulations.
is Robert Elm, Princess Anne Plaza, Civic League Volunteer of the Year. Robert?
Mr. Elm should get that every year.
Had a busy year.
How you doing, Mr. Mayor?
How you doing? Good to see you. This award is presented to Robert Elms of the Princess Anne Plaza Civic League, Volunteer of the Year 2017. Congratulations. You want to take your box? Right here, Robert.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
And that's all we have, sir.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. We'll now go to public hearings. The first one is the sale of easements over city property, interfacility traffic area, A 3597 Indian River Road. Anybody to speak on
There are no
that?
speakers, sir.
B 2876 Indian River Road.
No speakers.
Next one is C 2287 Lansdowne Road.
There are no speakers, sir.
All right. And the next public hearing is the acquisition of real property, Cardinal Lakes Pump Station, number 550, and sanitary sewer relocation project. Any
No-
speakers?
No speakers, sir.
No speakers? Fine. All right. I want to remind everyone that the city council speaker policy that allows certain representatives of groups to speak for 10 minutes applies only to planning items and items where a public hearing is required by state law. As to all other items on the agenda, each speaker, whether speaking individually or on behalf of a group, will have 3 minutes to speak. Also, when speakers are called on each item, the clerk will call for those individuals who have signed up to speak. After those who have signed up to speak have spoken, the chair will ask if there are any other persons who wish to speak on the item at hand. Those speakers will be allowed to speak and will be asked to give their name, address, and telephone numbers for the clerk to record. We'll now go to the consent agenda. Vice Mayor Wood.
Mr. Mayor, I move under approval under the consent agenda the following items. Under ordinances resolution, item J1, ordinance to declare excess city property with restrictive easements in the interfacility traffic area and authorize the city manager to sell the same to the United States of America. A 3597 Indian River Road, B 2876 Indian River Road, C 2287 Lansdowne Road. Item 2, ordinance to authorize the acquisition of property in fee simple regarding Cardinal Estates Pump Station number 550 and sanitary sewer relocation project by agreement or condemnation. Item 3, ordinance to extend the date to satisfy conditions for a closing of a 10,645 square foot portion of right-of-way known as Lord Dunmore Drive. Item 4, ordinance to authorize a temporary encroachment into a portion of city property known as Bluegill Inlet at 2797 Sandpiper Road regarding construction and maintenance of a dock. Item 5, resolution authorize and direct the city manager to execute a memorandum of agreement for the contribution of funds to the Department of the Army regarding Rudy Inlet additional work. Item 6, ordinance to authorize design approval regarding Laskin Road Phase 1A and Laskin Road Bridge replacement.
Item 7, ordinance to establish capital improvement project CIP regarding EMS headquarters audio-visual upgrades and transfer $250,000 from the Housing Resource Center CIP, and that's on consent to defer until September 4th. Item 8, ordinance to transfer $167,166 from the Housing Resource Center CIP to the various buildings rehab and renewal 4 CIP regarding electrical upgrades to the farmers market, also consent for deferral to September 4th. Item 9, ordinance to accept and appropriate $23,790 from the FY 2018-2019 Supreme Court of Virginia Drug Treatment Court Docket Grant to the FY 2017-2018 Commonwealth Attorney's Operating Budget regarding care for VBADTC participants and authorize an in-kind grant match.
I declare a public hearing for planning.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt. We have a speaker for number 1 now, for planning number 1.
K1, got it.
Yes.
Okay, under planning, item K2, Greenway Towing LLC, trading as Aristocrat Towing, 800 Block Properties LC, for modification of properties and conditions regarding a bulk storage yard at 1608 Washington Avenue in the Beach District. Item 3, Walmart Real Estate Business Trust for a conditional use permit, Ray Bulk Storage Yard at 2021 Lynn Haven Parkway in the Rose Hall District, with the amended condition number 8, which states approval of the conditional use permit is subject to an annual administrative review by the City of Virginia Beach zoning administrator to determine compliance with the above conditions, noting Mr. Moss is voting nay. Item 4, Walmart Real Estate Business Trust for a conditional use permit, Ray Bulk Storage Yard, 657 Phoenix Drive, Beach District, with the modified condition number 9, which states conditional use permit is subject to an annual administrative review by the City of Virginia Beach zoning administrator to determine compliance with the above conditions, noting Mr. Moss is voting no on that item. Item 6, Walmart Real Estate Business Trust, Lake Gym 2 LLC for conditional use permit, Ray Bulk Storage Yard, 1149 and 1169 Nemo Parkway in the Princess Anne District, with the modified condition stating that the approval, item 9, approval of the conditional use permit is subject to an annual administrative review by the City of Virginia Beach zoning administrator to determine compliance with the above conditions, noting that Mr. Moss is voting no on that item. Item 7, Ronald F. Geeson Jr., Downs Properties Incorporated, for conditional use permit, Ray Motor Vehicle Rentals at 519 North Witch Duck Road in the Bayside District. Item 8, Lynn Haven Area Properties LLC, for conditional use permit, Ray Car Wash and Automotive Repair Establishment, northwest corner of Laskin Road and Regency Drive, Beach District. Item 9, ordinance to amend Section 104 of the city zoning ordinance regarding maximum and minimum misdemeanor fines for violations. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any discussion on any of those items? If not, the vote is open.
5 vote of 9 to 0, you have approved the consent agenda as read by the Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Moss.
Thank you. I'd like to explain my no votes on item 3, 4, and 6, because I think 5 is on the agenda still with the speaker. This regards to the Walmarts. 2 points. 1, we're allowing this at 4 Walmarts, or soon to be maybe 4 Walmarts, but not the Walmart at Town Center. But I think that every other community and their Walmart in their neighborhood should get the same kind of consideration and standard that we apply at the Town Center Walmart that we apply other places, number 1. 2, not in all cases, but in some of the cases, the storage is at the back, which is a good thing, but the distance that's between the storage and the back of the building, you've got to take your tape measure. If you put a fire truck in there and there had to be a fire, you'd be right up against the building to service the building, plus the bulk storage. Thirdly, we're setting a precedent, because if you think this is the only place that would prefer to be able to store their goods on site versus have to secure warehouse storage and bring their stuff to the facility, whether it's, Target or you name the company, this won't be the only place. Is this a precedent we really want to set? This is a company that truly can afford to secure the proper storage, not on their site with all these storage, as many as 20 in some cases. So I think we are setting, even though it's a conditional use, we're setting a bad precedent of bringing all these storage containers onto these sites rather than requiring people, otherwise bulk storage would be in a different zoning category. And so I think this is the wrong approach, but more importantly, we shouldn't have one standard for town center Walmarts and a different standard for Walmarts everywhere else, and that's why I voted no.
All right. First item that we'll be hearing is the planning item K1, which is Vision Inc., Beatrice R. Small, for a variance to section 4B of the subdivision District 2, Kempsville.
I have one speaker, Megan Rivera.
We have the applicant.
Is the applicant
Is the
here?
applicant here?
Did you want to speak first, sir? or- Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Ms. Rivera? You come on up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. My name is Megan Rivera, and I'm the owner of the property at 700 Rocky Run Court, which is immediately next to the property in question.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, can we ask them to put the picture up so we can see the property, so everybody could, I just want everybody to be able to put your comments in context, and right now we're just seeing a blank screen.
And
I
ma'am,
I apologize.
could I get you to speak just a little bit louder?
Yes,
or
sir.
closer into the mic, please? Go ahead.
Okay. The reason that I'm here tonight is because I don't have any problem with the changing of the size of the lot, which I understand now is what was on the list to discuss. I wanted to propose a different destiny for the land that's in question. Reason being is because I was first approached by a couple of contractors about a year and a half or 2 years ago that wanted to turn that property into 2 homes. And I was against it because it's like a small forested area that's the only source of shade. And it's on a cul-de-sac, which is the only place for kids to play in our street and in our nearby neighborhood. I wanted to bring up the idea of doing something different with the land, like putting in a playground or a splash pad or something that would be really useful to the people that already live there. On our street alone, there are at least 30 kids, and then across from us, there is a small cul-de-sac that has at least 20 kids. The children that live in that area across from us come down to our cul-de-sac to play because they don't have anywhere else to play. There is a playground that's about almost a mile away, but that would involve a lot of walking. If they play in front of their house, they're playing in front of a registered child molester's house. So they are welcomed at our cul-de-sac to play, whether they live on our street or not. Some of the kids need a place to go. For example, I had to talk to somebody's mom one time, and I went over to knock on their door, and there was marijuana smoke billowing out, and at least 3 or 4 different children came to the door that were all living there. I'm just concerned that I'd like them to have a place that's safe to play. Also, the residents of Rocky Run Court are the people that have taken care of that land. It has not been taken care of at all by the owner. We actually, my husband and I, formed a letter and sent it to the owner of the property, the only records that I could find in public records, proposing to buy the property ourselves because it would be feasible for us so that we could develop it into something for the kids to play, like a safe place to play that's not in the street. 3 trees have fallen, and the people that live there have been the ones that clean it up and cut back the trees and cut back the poison ivy. I'd also like to note that, sorry, I lost my place. I think I've made most of my points. I just think it would be a better idea to invest in the people that are already there than to bring more people to the neighborhood. And that's about it. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Sir, you're the applicant. Would you like to rebut the comments, or?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name's Tony Sansilio. My brother and I own Vision Homes, which we have put in the application for a subdivision variance. We plan on keeping the woods in the back. The lot is about 320 feet long, as you can see, and the back third of it is going to remain natural. My concern is when we first looked at this property, there's like tree forts and kids climbing things in the woods there. And it's an insurance issue for us because if something happens to the child and he falls off the tree, they're going to be looking for us. I have no problem talking with them, and this is the first I've heard of this, because I did go over there and talk to the people in that cul-de-sac, or at least that lady right there. If there's something I can work out where we can take a slice off of it and donate it to their civic league if they have it, I have no problem with that, as long as we don't have to bear the cost of doing that. So I'm open for suggestions, but there's no way. I mean, our house is going to be maybe 115, 20 feet from Daniel Smith going back. You can see a little open area right there. So that's a good, maybe another 100 feet of woods right there. So that's what we plan on keeping, unless the DSC or somebody else tells us something different.
Ms. Abbott?
Mr. Mayor, I think, I would like to recommend this for approval, but I think if you're willing to have a conversation with that neighborhood and talk about what you can do, I think that's really generous, and I think that would be worth the city's time in pursuing what the possibility is there. But for now, I think we should go ahead, and I'd recommend for approval of this application.
Is that a motion?
But I just want to
That's
say
motion.
one more thing. My concern, and I have not addressed it yet because of the going through the course of getting it rezoned or the variance, is the existing children's stuff on the property. I was going to notify everybody to say, hey, you're going to keep it there, that's fine, but you got to get it insured because we don't want to insure it.
Well, that's something you need to work out with them.
I understand that, but I didn't want to work it out until I knew I had the variance approval.
That's very nice of you, but that's between you and them.
I understand.
All right. Yes, Ms. Henry.
Well, I'm assuming that in order to do that, you would have to do a subdivision, which would have to come through a major process and so forth, too. So I just don't want to give the neighborhood some false hope, because I think this sounds, I mean, somebody would have to pay for the subdivision, and then it would, and I'm not sure what kind of lot we would be creating, and what kind of standards that would make, and then there's somebody who's got to have the liability and the operation for that site. So it's very generous of you to be willing to do that, but, it's easier said than done.
Not to prohibit my time constraints. Because
Right.
I'm on the time constraints with the original owner, who's
Right.
95 years old.
Yeah.
So there's been stuff put on that property for years.
Right.
And I'm very anxious to get rid of the stuff, and I'm going to do that very soon.
All right, the motion's been made. Was there a second?
I did. John did.
Okay, all right. Motion been made and second. Any further discussion? If not, the vote is open.
By a vote of 9-0, you've approved the application.
All right, the next item.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next item is item 5 under planning, which is the Walmart Real Estate Business Trust for conditional use permit, Ray Bulk Storage Yard at 546 First Colonial Road in the Beach District. Mr. Nutter.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Someone left their notes if they might need them later. For the record, my name is R.J. Nutter. I'm an attorney. I represent the applicant, Walmart in this case. This case was separated from the others because there was a speaker. But I would tell you a little bit about the application while I'm on here, and that's to say that First, we're happy to have staff and planning commission recommendation for approval. This is about 11.5-acre site. The trailers in this case will be located, and there are 10 of them in this case, will be located on the side of the building, outside of the frontage of the building, also behind the frontage of the adjacent property, as you can see. Oh, it's really hard to see with that exhibit. But I would, that's perfect. They'd be located right in that area. The arrow to the furthest left is the retail building that I believe the speaker is here from today. And as you can see, we'll be way behind the frontage of their property, and closer in fact to their loading area in the rear. I brought some photos in case these weren't here. In this case, Mr. Moss, these are outside of the front of the building. They're like kind of a great distance away. There'll only be 10 of them. The other nice thing I can tell you is that Walmart 2 years ago applied for the same use permit, was granted the permit. And during that time, there were no objections or complaints filed by anyone on any of the 4 sites we're seeking today, including this one. What's happened is a new property owner next door. Walmart has reached out to them and offered to work with them. But in this case, there are 10 trailers, they're screened. Your staff's recommending approval. We're in a Zone B2 area, and it's in the 75 dB noise zone, so it's clearly going to have Navy restrictions on it as a result of that. But I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I think it's pretty straightforward. We appreciate this. This is for a temporary period only. One other thing that may help you, perhaps Mr. Moss, and I can't say about other retailers, but I can say that Walmart is one that is now having a national program about where you can internet ship and internet drop. And what's happened is the stores are no longer have to just rely upon a person walking in the store to get their goods and services that they want to buy. They can literally order them from anywhere in the country and have them shipped directly to that site, which is making it more difficult on the stores to try to find, because they're not in control of that process. So all of a sudden you have, and we're going to see more of this as the retail world expands and we see more of these changes. So I would tell you that the retail world's trying to figure out where this is going, just like everybody else. I don't think it'll stop here. I think you'll see other changes that can mitigate against this in time. But I would tell you that part of the reason you're seeing these kind of applications is because of the drop ship scenario where people can literally order them independent of the store, which makes the store available to not only the people who walk in the front door, but to virtually everybody on the internet. So that is why we're here today. We've had no problems for the last 2 years, and we appreciate your support. One of the things, the revised condition, all the conditions are acceptable with revised condition number 9. But other than that, I'm staying ready for any questions that you might have.
All right. Are there any other speakers, Madam Clerk?
Jeff Spatz.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I represent the ownership of the adjacent property. I'm not sure how to use this exactly. I apologize to move back one slide. But I'll try to explain. We own the property that is over here. It's an inline retail area, as well as several pad sites over here. This was recently subdivided and sold off in about the last year. We acquired it approximately a year. Thank you. So here's our retail area, as well as several pad sites here, here, and here. There's a car wash, Taco Bell, Wendy's. We have retail sites here, and a couple retail sites as well here. We acquired this site approximately a year ago, approximately the same time that Walmart was just opening. This is a new Walmart. The area where Walmart is proposing to put the storage containers is right here. It is currently not a heavily trafficked area. The trucks go behind our retail area and load up over here. The area they're proposing to use is over here. Because this is a new Walmart and the traffic hasn't really fully developed and we can't determine the impact, we thought, and we have been speaking to Walmart, it's correct, and we've been trying to work with them to make a situation that works from a traffic perspective, that works from aesthetics perspective, and makes the whole center work together seamlessly. But as you can see, it really does abut our retail area over here, And we wanted to make sure that the storage area over here, depending on exactly how the layout was going to be set up, and they weren't completely 100% defined, the precise layout, they had an approximate area, and they said within that area they were going to be placing the storage containers. We reached out to them prior to the planning committee meeting, and also within the last several weeks, we've been in touch with their real estate managers that are in charge of this, and we want to make sure that the parking doesn't overflow and impact, and the traffic flow is not impacted between the trucks coming through the rear and cars or any employees that may have been parking here. We want to make sure. As such, we thought it might be appropriate to give a one-year approval because this is a new Walmart, just recently opened, with a conditional second year, assuming that the adjacent properties, namely us, don't have an issue with it. If we do, then we could bring it back to the council to determine what is appropriate and what's not. And that's essentially where we have left it off at this point. We haven't gotten the feedback yet from Walmart agreeing or not agreeing to certain rights and restrictions, because there are restrictions on the entire center, the Walmart and our retail center, because there is a understanding that there's a synergy amongst all the retailers. Looks like my time is running out, but I'm happy to answer any questions. But it's a matter of, it's a new center, and we really want to make sure it just works seamlessly.
So Mr. Spatz, we're going to be adding a condition like the other ones have, so that they'll have an annual review. So that would be like what you asked for in a year to look at it, but it just says an annual review, so administratively.
I'm not familiar with the annual, sorry.
So that, right, so the city will come back and look at it in a year, like you
My
requested.
understanding from the planning commission is that the administrative review is saying as long as there's no zoning issues or any breaches of any responsibilities, then it would be approved. And we want to make sure, because this is a little more unique. We actually have another property that's adjacent to another Walmart. That was the previous one on the planning board on the Phoenix Drive. And we didn't raise any questions about that or any issues. It's been longstanding. Our property does butt up against the Walmart, but we feel that the storage containers are in a place where it's not going to hurt aesthetically or from traffic perspective. So we're not looking to cause Walmart issue. We're looking to work with them. As such, we didn't make any issues or comments on the other one. But on this one, we had more of a concern because it's a new Walmart, because of the layout of the center. And we want to make sure that the administrative review is not simply that they didn't breach any of the requirements of the number of storage containers or stacking, et cetera, but that if it doesn't work together with the center because traffic, parking, aesthetics, that there is a kind of more active review of that. And I don't know if that's possible. I apologize.
And I shop in that whole area
Okay.
for over
Seems
a
everyone
time,
knows it,
so I know the area real well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, can I get Kevin or Barry to address Mr. Spatz's questions about how the review's done?
Absolutely. He is correct that we look at whether there's, been violations or issues or complaints filed on that property. I would encourage him, if it were causing some kind of issue with, traffic, parking, trucks, to let us know, because, if we don't know, we can't address it. But if you do have concerns, by all means, share them with us, and those would be considered in that administrative approval.
As I said, we're trying to be good neighbors. We're trying to work together with Walmart, making a synergy, increase traffic, increase customers. It helps everyone. And we just want to make sure because
Does
of
that
the
address
relative.
your concern then?
Will that address your
I
concern?
think so, and if I'm misstating it, let me know, but if there are concerns, even if it's just individual concerns and it's not actual violations, then it would be kicked back to a review to the planning board and the city council.
Well, yes, if you have concerns and you let the zoning office know, we look at the property as a whole and the storage yard as a whole and how it's functioning. And if there were problems, yes, we could trigger it to go back to planning commission. So whether or not it's a official violation or not, we'll look at the situation as a whole and how it's functioning.
I think that addresses it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move for approval.
Wait just a minute. Are there any other speakers?
No, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Like to move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made and second for approval. Any discussion?
I have a question for Mr. Nutter. I just want to better understand the concept of operation, because the places I've seen out on the West Coast where there have, I won't call them quite,
Excuse me, just a minute. You folks, are you Boy Scouts back there?
Don't leave yet.
Mr. Nutter, would you
Strategic
excuse
pause.
us and-
I love Boy
for a
Scouts.
minute?
I'm one myself.
Would you come forward, please?
They were trying to get out of here.
Thought you were going to get
Their
away easy,
sponsor
huh?
is
They were trying to
Mr.
stay
Mayor,
there.
their sponsor is the Aragona Moose Lodge. And
I'm sorry.
their sponsor is the Aragona Moose Lodge.
Just so you know.
I asked.
I'm informed that your sponsor is the Aragona Moose Lodge. Is that correct? Would you identify your troop for us, if you would?
902, sir.
And you young gentlemen, would you give us your name, please?
Casey?
Speak up.
Casey?
Okay.
Keith?
Right. Well, welcome to Virginia Beach City Council. I didn't see you back there at first, so or I'd have had you come up earlier. But we welcome you. We're glad you came and see how our government works. If you'd step forward, the two of you.
And Mr. Mayor, while you're doing that, they're working on their citizenship and the local citizenship, local government
This
at
is a
Merit
pen
Badge.
of the city of Virginia Beach. You can
Citizenship
wear on
in the
your
community,
uniform.
official name.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you for coming down. I'm sorry, Mr. Nutter, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Always you with the Boy Scouts.
it's important to recognize these young folks.
Couldn't agree more.
I've seen some of these places in the West Coast where they have these boxes outside that people drive up and they're being serviced directly from the box to their vehicle. Is this that kind of operation? Because you made a note that led me to, when your conversation, I had to think about what you said. Then there's the other version where the stuff does come, as you mentioned, and shipped, but the people go into the store and and are serviced at a counter versus serviced by someone who's working out in the lot because their stuff came by a box and they know that and they're serviced from that location. What's the concept of operation in this particular case?
Happy to tell you, this is, just as we indicated, this is where the materials arrive, they're stored in the containers. They are then brought into the stores for direct sale to the individuals who work them. In some cases, these are layaway orders. We get that a lot around Christmas time. And other cases, a direct ship situation. Those are the largest percentage. I can't say there may be some additional stocking going on. I mean, this year, for instance, with Toys R Us going out of business, they anticipate a large demand on toys coming to their stores. And Target as well, I suspect.
But you're not retailing from the Connex box?
No, sir.
Okay, I just want to ask, I've
I'm
seen that
sorry.
too. I just want
No, I
to
apologize.
confirm from what you
That's
said.
all right.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
Handler?
Is this a temporary, I mean, it's not a permanent
Oh,
all
no,
year long? This is just
This is only for the limited period of time, the September.
Seasonal.
Seasonal operation only. I think you'll see a change in the retail system. We're seeing establishments of redevelopment of older buildings where you'll have direct ships to those locations and then direct delivery out. I think you'll see that coming as well. Many stores are looking at that, Target, many stores are looking at that. So the whole retail world's kind of changing, to be honest with you. As we all know, this is just one way to get it, but there are no direct sales out of these containers.
But if this is temporary and it's seasonal at Christmas, then this
Direct sale.
neighbor would know fairly soon. I mean, it will be well within the year that they would know whether there are any conflicts.
Absolutely. And the other is, well, I mean, we're fine with the condition as written. We think it's appropriate. So we're ready to vote when you, ready for the vote when you are. I apologize.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Vote is open.
By a vote of 8-1, you have approved the application of Walmart at First Colonial Road.
We'll now go to appointments. Vice Mayor Wood.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move for appointment of the following individuals to the Vision 2040 Vision Action Community Coalition: Kimberly Melnick; to the Military Economic Development Advisory Commission, Kathy Owens.
Open that, Gary.
Are there any further nominations for those appointments? If not, the vote is open.
Close it. By a vote of 9-0, you have appointed those as read by the Vice Mayor.
Mrs. Wilson.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to recommend for the Development Authority for reappointment Stephen McNulty and Dorothy Wood, and as new members, Taylor Franklin and Penny Morgan.
Are there, so we will vote on those nominations and then,
Are there other nominations?
I'm sorry? Are there any further nominations?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Dane Blythe.
All right.
And I'd like to nominate Erica Terminillo.
All right. We will vote on the first four nominations, and then if they are voted, then the second, I guess you need,
Mr. Mayor and Council, in the procedures handed down to me from my predecessor, I note that this specific situation has been addressed, and I wish to read to you what it is reported to me has been the prior practice of this body. And I regret that I did not have this in front of me when you spoke before. It says, council's policy established by practice over a long period of time is any member may place a name in nomination. Thereafter, as to voting, each nominee's name is read aloud and a roll call vote taken on each candidate. All votes for all candidates are received regardless of whether a nominee receives a majority before all votes are considered. So your practice, and this refers specifically back to a 1992 vice mayoral election of this body. So I believe the way you have done it historically in the past is you take all nominations, you vote on all six of the people, and the top four vote getters would get the position.
You do them one at a time?
Yes.
So it's a runoff?
we'll do them one at a time.
No. This is what I thought we should have done. I said that. Poll
All
each
right,
thing.
what's the first name?
But I want to
The first one is Stephen McNulty.
First name and
But where's the
nomination.
discussion?
This is nomination, not a motion, so it's whatever the chair wishes to entertain, but there's
Well, then under
typically.
new business, I'll discuss this vote, so I reserve my right under
So
old
we have a
business to
lot of
discuss the
people
vote we're
before,
having,
so let
because
me
the
check.
public needs to know what's going on here.
So we're voting on one name.
We're going to go down the list and vote on
But
it.
we can't say why we're not voting for someone.
I think that the mayor may give the chair, I mean, it's a roll call, one by one vote, so each person can speak as they vote.
All right, well, then I'll do that.
So wait, we're not voting by,
No, we're not going to vote on all of them at one time.
so
We're
voice
gonna
vote or?
We're going to vote
It
on.
is,
them.
according to this, it is each nominee's name is read aloud and a roll call voice vote taken on each candidate.
All right.
That's what you have done in the past.
The first name that we have is
I'm-
Steve.
So I apologize, throw one more wrench in this. Mr. Worst has just approached me to ask if speakers are allowed for appointments.
It's a matter in which a vote is taken, so yes.
We will allow it, yes.
Okay.
All right?
Mr. Worst?
You need to wait until we
Oh.
have the names.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know how we were doing.
All right?
Well,
First
you-
name.
Stephen McNulty.
First nomination is Stephen McNulty. Did you want to speak on Stephen McNulty?
No, sir.
All right, the vote is open.
Roll call.
We need to do a roll
Voice
call.
It's a voice vote.
Voice, roll call vote, okay. Ms. Kane,
So, yes. Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Wood, I'm aye.
Yes.
Aye.
There is already an existing town bank rep on the Development Authority. I think that is plenty, so I am voting no.
Aye.
No.
The vote carries. The next name, please.
Well, the vote is 7 to 2, so you got to do all of them to see who you
Okay.
elected. the
Dorothy
four-
Wood.
The next nomination is Dorothy Wood. Did you want to speak on Mrs. Wood?
Yes, please.
Please. step forward.
Good evening.
Taylor Frank.
My name is Tim Worst. I live in the Princess Anne District. I wanted to speak on the fact of putting Dot Wood back on the Virginia Beach Development Authority because she's in direct relation to our council member and our current vice mayor, Mr. Wood. That is a huge issue of having your son on city council when you're running the Virginia Beach Development Authority. A huge issue. And if they knew this was going to come up tonight, you would have a packed house. I promise you that. That's a huge issue to have your mother as the person running the Virginia Beach Development Authority that does numerous and millions of dollars of finances throughout Virginia Beach. That is a big problem, big problem. That's why I wanted to speak. Thank you.
All right, any other speakers while we're at it?
That's all
Okay.
speakers.
The nominations for Mrs. Dot Wood, Ms. Kane?
Yes.
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 Aye.
Aye.
Can he vote for his own mother
I'm
on
sorry.
the Virginia Beach Development Authority?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can.
Holy smokes.
Mr. Moss?
No against nepotism.
Aye.
No, and I'm not voting for any of the existing members because I believe we need to have a entirely new face of this board.
Next nomination, please. The vote is
7-2.
7-2
Yes.
in favor of Ms. Wood. Yes,
Taylor Franklin?
Taylor Franklin. Ms. Kane?
Yes, he's new.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Wood? I'm aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yes, new.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the vote is
No.
8-1. in
9-0.
I'm sorry?
Everyone said yes.
Everybody said
9-0.
yes. 9-0.
9-0?
No, I said yes.
thought
I
you
said,
voted
no, I said yes. I said yes for new.
9-0 in favor.
Might have been heard as no.
The next of name,
Penny Morgan?
Penny Morgan. I'll start on this side. How's that?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
All right.
9-0.
9-0 in favor.
Yes.
That was your four, is that correct?
Yes. There's 4 openings and they all passed.
But we get to have, all names get to call and be recorded.
That is the process that it is reported here that you have followed in the past. All votes for all candidates are received regardless of whether a nominee receives a majority before all nominees are considered.
All right. Are there any further nominations?
Dane
Are
Blythe,
two
we made
nominees.
them before.
Dane Blythe?
Correct.
And Erica Terminillo.
Have to
We'll
do it
vote
one at a time.
each one separately.
Dane Blythe.
We'll
Aye.
start with Ms. Abbott.
Nay.
Yes.
Nay.
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 No.
No.
No, I'm out of votes.
So by a vote of 2-7, so that did not carry.
All right. And then there was
Shouldn't say
a last name.
Yeah, Erica Terminillo.
All right.
Eric.
We'll start with Ms. Kane this time.
No, again, I'm out of votes.
No.
No.
No?
No.
Nay.
Yes.
Nay.
Aye.
All right.
So 2-7.
Is that all the names that we had?
Yes.
And I
All
do
right.
remember that because we nominated Nancy Parker.
Thank you very much.
Because Will-
So
Is there any further business?
do I,
So the clerk needs to announce the appointments based on your vote.
the appointment to the Virginia Beach Development Authority based on council's vote is Stephen McNulty, Dorothy Wood, Taylor Franklin, and Penny Morgan.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to recess into a closed session pursuant to the exemptions from open meetings allowed by Section 2.2-3711A Code of Virginia as amended for the following purposes: publicly held property discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A3 Beach District. Legal matters, consultation with legal counsel, and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation where such consultation or briefing in an open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body, and consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A7, Mid-Atlantic Arena, City of Virginia Beach, State of India, Kager versus Fiera et al., public contract, discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A 29, Norfolk Water Contract, personnel matters, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, discipline, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of any public body pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A1, council appointments, council boards, commissions, committees, authorities, agencies, and appointees. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, before we make this,
I think there's another Boy Scout out in the audience. We might, before we go into special
Is there
session.
another Boy Scout
I
out
think
there?
I see one out there.
Yeah.
I noticed the neckerchief as I looked past the lights. And I said, ooh, there's another one out there. I wanted to be forgotten.
Would you come forward, please?
Tell us your name.
I'm sorry I missed you.
Order of the Arrow, too, all right.
Would you name your troop, please?
Troop 499,
Oh, okay. And what is your name?
Justin
Justin?
Hey.
What's your last name, Justin?
Brown.
Justin Brown. Well, Justin, welcome to Virginia Beach City Council. We're glad you came down and viewed what we could do, and you're welcome to come back anytime. I'd like for you to step forward, if you will, please.
Yeah.
City symbol pin that we'd like you to wear on your uniform.
It's because someone's got to make you. Wait a minute. That's a neckerchief.
Okay, did we vote on the,
No. So,
all right, would everybody?
Well,
we're
yeah,
gonna do I want to do a verbal vote.
it should be a roll call vote.
Okay, so Ms. Henley,
Do a roll call?
Well,
She's going to call us.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Dyer,
Aye.
Mr. Moss,
Aye.
Mr. Davenport.
aye.
Ms. Abbott,
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Ern absent. Ms. Wilson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wood.
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
9-0. More recess.
All right, we will adjourn to closed session.
A roll call vote's good.
so this is a motion to certify the closed session was held in accordance with the call and that no other matters were discussed other than those in the call.
That's the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have to make a roll call vote? Those are the
Yes.
city clerks.
No, I'm just trying to get my system back up so we can do it on the vote board. Sorry.
And no, I wasn't making the motion, just in case I get accused of that later.
Just providing legal advisory services.
Kevin, sign the vote.
So, I'm sorry, let's,
Who's mentoring us on the right
who
one?
made the motion? Who made the second?
Mark.
Thank you. Okay,
I only got the second.
the vote's open.
Cars are warming up.
Do roll call.
All right, it's a roll call vote, though.
No, it's not.
No, we can do
No, you
this.
just did it right there.
Okay.
We're done.
You voted?
Five
I
voted
voted.
5-0. You certify the closed session
Very
in
good.
accordance with the motion
Us
to
for
recess.
the
Motion. I moved. That's a preemptive motion. Aye. Yes.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.